What's up, YouTube? This is Big Mike. All right, in this video, I want to touch on something that Town Business said in his video. He's talking about LeBron James, whether or not LeBron James is on the downside of his career. First of all, if you're not subscribed to Town Business, please subscribe to his channel. He has really good content. He speaks about a plethora of issues, and I like his no-holds-barred style. So please subscribe to his channel. I think he actually was responding to something I said in a video the other day about LeBron. I think I had mentioned his defense or lack thereof, and I want to expound on that a little bit. Now, LeBron James is a great player, but he does not really play he really doesn't play defense anymore. And I think for the most part, LeBron James's defense is talked about because of what he did in Miami. Now, Miami, you got to remember the Miami Heat. They have a completely different culture. It might be changed a little bit now because of the rule changes and all that. But when we think about the Miami Heat, we think about a culture of defense. Pat Riley is the president of that team. For a long period of time, he was the head coach of that team. All right? When we think about Pat Riley, we think about the Knicks. Hell, when older cats like me talk about the quote-unquote good old days when they played hard-nosed physical defense, we always bring up the Heat in the conversation of the late 90s. Where you're talking about the teams with Mourning and Keith Askins and Kurt Thomas and, Tim Hardaway. Or later on with Wade, Shaq, Gary Payton, Haslam, or the Heatles with Bosh, Wade, and LeBron. Joel Anthony, not a great player, but an effort player. We tend to think of the talented players, yes, but at the heart of it was defense. And that inspired LeBron James to actually make an effort on defense. Now, in my opinion, LeBron James was never a great one-on-one defensive player. Now, that might cause the ire of some people for me saying that, but he was not great. I thought fundamentally he was all off. His footing, his spacing, his stance. It was not beautiful to watch. But what made him an effective defender was his sheer size, strength, and speed, and lateral ability. I mean, if you got a guy who's 6'8" and 260, 270, maybe at his heaviest, 255, 270 to say that, and can move like a perimeter guy, that's a tough matchup. I remember the 2011 Eastern Conference Finals, I think, between the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls. I think it was the year the Bulls won like 60 games. I think that's the season Derrick Rose won MVP. People were on Derrick Rose dick like they became, like they kind of were like on Curry's that year. You know what I mean? I remember it was so bad the media was saying that he was the most dominant point guard since Magic Johnson. Come on, Derrick Rose. That's how bad the media can get with this shit. And for a stretch of that series, they would switch. The Miami Heat would switch on, they would switch out, and James would actually guard Derrick Rose. And if I remember correctly, Derrick Rose only shot 30% from the floor that series. And much of the credit was given to LeBron James. Now, when you're that big, going up against a guy who's listed as 6'3", really in barefoot, he's 6'1.5", Derrick Rose, you're going to cause him problems. You're just going to cause problems, But for the most part, LeBron to me was never a great one-on-one defender. He's a far better weak side and help defender. When we think about LeBron James, as my phone is dying, when we think about LeBron James, I think about the chase down blocks, Remember the block that he had in Game 7 2016 NBA Finals against Andre Iguodala. That's what he excelled at. But when he came back to the Cleveland Cavaliers, he was already nearing 30 years of age. He's almost 34 years old now. I think his birthday is December 30th. You can't expect to play on both levels, offense and defense. You can't expect for a guy to be able to do those things sustained at the same time. It's not going to work. Just like I think I mentioned this in the video about the Bulls. Earlier on, Jordan could handle the tougher defensive assignments and score 32, 35 points a game. He couldn't do that when he got back. If he tried to, like he did, I remember when Scottie Pippen was out for like 38 games in 97-98 season, and Jordan was forced to handle lots of times the team's toughest defensive assignment in the backcourt. And while Jordan held his own defensively, not being the defender that he was before, but he still was a top 15, 20 defender in my eyes even then. But before, he was arguably the best defensive player in the NBA, or at least top 2 defensive player, or depending on how you look at it, top 5 at least. You always have an argument with Dennis Rodman, Kim Olajuwon, maybe Dave Robinson in the mix, but you get the point. But it affected his offense, Jordan. I remember he had horrible shooting games in the 97-98 season. But he played a lot better when Pippen came back because it helped to spare some of his energy on the defensive end. Pippen was able to, especially when Pippen got back in the groove of things, he was able to guard these tougher assignments, and Jordan was able to stay more of his energy on the offensive end. And that's why he went from shooting, averaging 24 points a game and shooting 42% to end the season averaging 28.7 points per game and shooting 46.5%. I remember doing a analysis that season. Only 34 of the 82 games that Michael played that year did he shoot 50% or better, as opposed to the 90-91 season, the first championship year. Jordan shot over 50% or better, and 59 out of 82 games. So that's the downslide with Jordan. But back to LeBron James. I don't expect a guy who's 34 years old to be able to play the same defense that he played when he was in his late 20s. But there should be some effort there. It's not fair that LeBron James gets all the credit for when they win or when his teams do something great. But when they lose, they always want to blame his teammates. LeBron James is the star. And in my opinion, the star always sets the tone. The 1950s Boston Celtics, all right? Before Bill Russell got there, the Celtics were a very good team, but they weren't a championship team. And their identity was different. I believe that team was more dominated by the backcourt. And they were, for the era, a pretty high-scoring team that was dominated by the backcourt of Bob Cousy and Bill Sharman. Now, when Bill Russell joined that team, their whole identity changed. And Bill Russell was the leader of that team. He became the leader of that team. First it was Bob Cousy, but then it was Bill Russell. And he took them from being a good team to a great team and to a dynasty team. And in my opinion, LeBron James sometimes lacks leadership ability. And his lack of leadership ability, and in combination with his lack of defense at this stage of his career, is to me what's going to keep him from being seen as a quote-unquote GOAT. I'm trying to think of other longevity players. Karl Malone, to me, is the Methuselah of long-term career NBA players. He was playing at a high level all the way until he was 38, 39 years of age. He was still putting up 23 points and 10 rebounds per game. Charles Barkley, even with the fact that he didn't take care of himself as he should have. Even the fact that he was overweight, he was still putting up 15 points and 11 rebounds a game. Oftentimes not even starting, come on the bench. So I remember in the 99 series against the Lakers, Barkley averaged like 23 points and 13 rebounds. This was, he was 36 years old. So we'll have to see how LeBron James' career concludes. But on the defensive end, in my opinion, as a star, he should set the tone for the defensive schemes that he, Luke Walton, and the team can get behind, because this team needs an identity. Right now, they're just a bunch of young guys playing, and they need to become a team. And I think that's what's wrong a little bit with what this team. That's what a little bit was wrong, is this team needs an identity, and they don't have one. All championship teams have an identity, in my opinion. But tell me what you guys think.